Now, on Tuesday, Trump had actually named Senator Ted Cruz when asked about his possible running mate. Says, yeah, Ted Cruz, he could totally be my running mate. Interesting. Quote, Ted Cruz is now agreeing with me 100% when asked about his vice presidential pick, according to Lifezette. I like him. Well, I like him, he told Laura Ingraham on her show. He's backed everything that I've said. Well, no surprise that you like him. Of course you're going to like people that say, oh, yes, Donald Trump. Oh, yes, Mr. Trump. Yes, I love everything you say. I love everything about you. Let me just kiss your ass. Let me just kiss you. Let me just bury my head up in there. Seriously, Ted Cruz is being such a yes man. He's essentially a barnacle attached to the Trump ship. I think of Ted Cruz and his smug little face, so firmly attached to Donald Trump's... never mind, that's a visual no one wants to get. But that's essentially what's going on. Oh, yes, Donald Trump. Yes, immigrants are rapists and murderers. Even though I'm an immigrant and my dad was an immigrant. Yes, we need a border wall. Oh, yes, Donald. That's exactly what we need. Let's make America great again. Please pick me as VP. Well, it actually worked. It actually worked. Oh, it's so sad. He's such a smarmy politician. Such a smarmy politician. Sucking up so much to Donald Trump. And despite that, on Monday, Donald Trump had actually said this about Ted Cruz's somewhat rise in the poll numbers.
Watching the dynamic between you and Ted Cruz from the beginning has been interesting to political watchers too, Donald. And I saw you as kind of frenemies, but he's starting to make some traction. Are you guys going to have to distance yourself from each other eventually? What do you think of Cruz's recent ascent from ever since the last debate?
Well, he's been very nice and very supportive of everything I've said, more than anybody else. And we'll see what happens. If he catches on, then I guess we'll have to go to war. But so far we haven't. We've been very supportive. We have a lot of the same ideas. And, you know, I'm very strong on border security and building a wall. We will build a wall, and it will be effective. Believe me, my walls are effective. And we're going to have a border again. And we're not going to have drugs pouring across, and we're not going to have people that are illegal coming in and just walking across in front of the Border Patrol people who want to do something, but they're told to stand down.
Hey, Donald.
He's been very supportive, actually.
We're going to have to go to war. I mean, if he catches up, I guess we're going to have to go to war, even though he's been sucking up to me really nice, and I kind of like that. But if you get in my way, well, there's nothing that's going to stop me. If I like you, even though I might like you, I'll still Donkey Kong you in the head. If you get in my way. That's Donald Trump for you, man. He takes no prisoners. But that's okay, because I don't think Cruz is actually going to go anywhere. I don't think he's even trying for the nomination, to be honest with you. I think he is trying to go for that VP spot, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, imagine a Trump-Cruz ticket. Oh, it's a disaster. Oh, absolute disaster. I mean, here's you have Ted Cruz basically kissing Donald Trump's ass the whole time. Oh, disaster. And once again, terrible mental image. All right. But thankfully, I don't see that whole situation unfolding like that. And it's not because Ted Cruz will suddenly rise in the polls and Donald Trump will have to be forced to destroy him, which is probably what would happen. I mean, as I said, Donald Trump will Donkey Kong you in the head. Look at what he's been doing to Ben Carson. Ooh. Like that whole knife thing? Imagine him doing that to Ted Cruz. And trust me, there's plenty of ammunition there. But no, what's more likely to happen is that Donald Trump will most likely implode. He'll do his own thing. He'll somehow implode, or he's going to quit when the establishment tries to go around him and do what they did to Ron Paul. You remember back in 2012, Ron Paul had a lot of delegates, and he had a lot of grassroots support. The GOP went right around him because he actually did challenge the establishment. And don't get me wrong, Ron Paul was wrong on I would say probably about 80 to 90% of everything, right? But nonetheless, on some things, he actually seemed rather sane. on some things. Sort of the situation with Donald Trump. They both challenge, ironically, they both seem to be challenging the GOP establishment. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Donald Trump's an outsider. He's just gained a lot from insider stat, from stuff that helps insiders. But still, there's that perception that the establishment hates him. And it is true. They really don't like him. But it's because they can't control him. They can't tell him what to do. And he's not beholden to them when it comes to the money. Trump's a wild card. You really don't want a wild card, especially when you're trying to win a high-stakes election. So, but as I said, he'll implode or quit when things start to go south. And you better believe that it's going to end up being a meltdown either way. And it would be spectacular. Spectacular. Now, who would they nominate? Well, they might nominate somebody like Marco Rubio, who would literally carry the water for the establishment. That's who the establishment politicians, what the GOP establishment is actually looking for. Somebody who's going to take orders. That's why Scott Walker, for a while, was getting all that establishment donor money. Because he knew how to take orders. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I'll do anything you want. Oh, you want me to get out of the race? Okay, I can do that. See you later. They want somebody who follows orders. They want somebody who's smart enough, who's just smart enough to operate a pen, and then decide anything the business community, the donors, hand off to him. Donald Trump, he's not going to play ball unless it helps Donald Trump. They don't like that. So that's why I really see Donald Trump's campaign imploding. And when he goes, there's a good chance that he might take the rest of the GOP with him. But, as I said, the reality of a Trump-Cruz ticket then, with all that said, is fairly low at this point. The chances of that happening, fairly low. As I said, nonetheless, Trump, as I said, wild card. And he's still in there. He's still dominating the polls. Despite everything that the establishment does. They don't like him, but the base does. The base loves him, no matter what he says. So it's going to be interesting. And it's still early in the game, so anything could happen. So maybe a Trump-Cruz ticket isn't as far off as a lot of people like to think. We'll have to see.